Bethesda fans, the time has finally come. Elder Scrolls Oblivion Remake is here, and it is honestly really impressive. In this video, we're gonna dive through, we're gonna show you what they talked about in their little premiere, which is honestly like almost a mini documentary, as well as what is happening in the game. Of course, we're gonna talk about what it's actually like playing the game now that it's been released. We're gonna dive into the graphics, the gameplay, and then should you actually play this game? Is it worth your time? And I think for two different types of people, the answer is very different. So we're gonna dive into that. And there's also that big ominous cloud in the room when Elder Scrolls 6. And actually, Howard did make some comments on that, so we have a little bit more information on that as well. Now, I don't know about you, but when we heard Oblivion was having a remake, I definitely got excited, but I had no idea the internet would explode like this. It is absolutely massive. It's crazy and amazing to see that a remake is getting this much hype. It really shows that all the Elder Scrolls players are looking for that good old-fashioned Bethesda feel again. As for the presentation they did, it's honestly worth your time to go back and watch it. It was really cool to see the perspectives from the devs who may have started out young but have now aged 20 years throughout their journey, and it was cool showing the different studios as well as how they made the game. You also get to see how they made improvements going into Unreal Engine, battle effects, and even things like the NPC mouth movements. It was a good mix of nostalgia and updates comparing the 2006 with the 2025 version. And another reason why they probably put so much effort into this one is just because Elder Scrolls 6 is still a little bit delayed. They want to get the hype, build it up, because they want that to be a massive title. And those people who missed being involved in Skyrim or Oblivion because they were too young or missed out on it, now they have the opportunity to do Oblivion Remastered before we hopefully do see Elder Scrolls 6 in 2026. As for the game, as you're probably already aware, it's fully downloadable now, and if you have a Game Pass, you can actually get it for free. And they did mention that it's been specially tuned for PS5 Pro, and also it is Steam Deck verified. When it comes to the graphics, they did a complete overhaul. Everything has been updated. The NPCs, the skin tones, the mouth movement, textures, and lighting got a big buff. It's especially really nice to see with what they've done with the nighttime lighting, the ambiance, as well as how things like torches flutter. Plus, in terms of combat, they've added a modern feel by adding things like blood splatter and sparks. Now, one thing to note here, as you can see, as we're walking around this world, it is still Oblivion. Yes, the graphics have been remastered, but as you can see, it's still got that Oblivion feel with those kind of old school looking NPCs and old school looking terrain. Like, as you can see, the textures and everything look really nice. Like, they've done a great job remastering this, but at the same time, you can still tell that it was built with that old engine.
Your money or your life. You're smarter than you look.
The game starts you off with the prologue, where you go through some talking and learning and get an initial feel for the game. Then you make your way out to this nostalgic feeling open world. In terms of graphics here, it depends on what you're running. If you've got a 4090, for instance, you can set everything to ultra and go through the gameplay that way. You can even do things like ray tracing, but this is an Unreal Engine game, so there will be a lot of demand. So if you have several years older model, you might have to run this game on medium. If you have those ultra settings or on a PS5 Pro, you'll notice how impressive this remaster is. 2006 is gone, and we are now back to modern gaming. The lighting and shadows work well, there's texture in the grass and trees, and the world feels way more real than it did before. As for the enemy encounters, while they do look a lot better and it's cool to see those sparks and blood splatter, they still use that old school fighting mechanic, so it's not like it's hard. Don't expect too much here, but it is better than the original. Another thing they were proud to showcase in that presentation was the third-person mode. So if you are a fan of third-person action, you can now do this in this game, and they have done a great job of the movement mechanics of it and the cameras. They've even added a crosshair to make things easier for you, but at the same time, it doesn't feel like it was built for third person. I don't know what it is, it kind of feels like you're leaning to the left or something like that. Like, it's totally playable for sure, but I don't know, you'll see it for yourself. Something feels a little bit off, but at the end of the day, we're here for some nostalgic fun, and it definitely checks that box. The NPCs walking around now do look more realistic, but you can tell it was still built off that original engine. They still have some issues like bumping into things and getting stuck. Now, the two big questions: who is this game for, and what have we learned about Elder Scrolls 6? In terms of who this game is actually for, it breaks down into a few things. Well, first of all, obviously you need to be into RPGs, and second of all, did you actually miss Oblivion and Skyrim? If you fall into that category, I think without a doubt it's worth playing this game. Definitely keep in mind that it's not the modern graphics that you're used to from 2024, 2025, but this is a really cool RPG with a really cool story that has stood the test of time. It just happened to come out 20 years ago. Now, if you've played Oblivion and Skyrim and love these worlds and miss that nostalgic feel, I definitely think it's worth your time to go back and play this game, because you're gonna get so many memories of those childhood or whatever age you were experiences. It's so fun. Like, I remember when Skyrim came out, for months and months and months, I was blasting the Skyrim soundtrack as I was playing, when I was doing homework, all the things. So it's definitely nice to have that nostalgic feel. And then in terms of who this game is not for, let's be honest, if you've made it through this video or the original presentation and you weren't like, yes, I want to play that, then probably the game isn't for you, because although yes, it is a really cool RPG, it's been remastered, it still does take a lot of time to play this game. And I guess the other caveat here is, if you're the type of gamer that is just really short on time because of work or whatever, and you want to save your time because you've already played this one, for instance, I give you permission, don't worry about it, skip this version. But hey, if you get bored in 6 months and have more time to pick it up, why not try it then? It's not going anywhere. Then in terms of Elder Scrolls 6, where is it? Well, we have officially confirmed from Howard himself that they are actively working on it. Some people say, why the hell did you do the remake of Oblivion? You should have been focusing on Elder Scrolls 6. And while that does have some merit, I think it makes sense to take some of the studio's resources and get this out to get some hype out and get some people who haven't tried those other two games to now try this one and get the experience, so you do get more people coming into Elder Scrolls 6 when it releases to keep the franchise alive. That's the biggest thing here. They need to make enough money to keep this one going, because this one is almost 7 years in development for Elder Scrolls 6, and so much has happened with technology in that time that you can bet that they're rolling in new things into Unreal Engine. They also have to keep up with AI. So when is this game coming out? Unfortunately, they aren't at a point where they can confirm an exact date. They're hoping for 2026, so hopefully Oblivion gets a lot of good feedback and they get some more permission to spend more money on devs and get this thing out faster. In that case, it's going to come out in 2026. If, however, the response of Oblivion isn't as good as they think, then they might not have the budget to get it out in 2026, and it might have to wait until 2027, but at least Howard did confirm that they're still building it.